Here we go. Okay, so there are definitely rules to follow when we're talking about similes and metaphors. Okay, so Manuel, can you read the simile for me, please?
Yes, compares two different things. Something is like or as something else. For example, he was as quiet as a mouse. She swam like a fish.
Okay, if you look, so you're comparing two different things. So something is like or as. Usually, when you have a simile, we use like or as. Like he was quiet. He was as quiet as a mouse, meaning he doesn't look like a mouse, but you know how a mouse is quiet, right? They say quiet as a mouse. There's a lot of children's stories you'll hear. Not even I think one of the stories, what the night before Christmas. I forgot exactly how it goes. I haven't read that story to my kids for a long time, but usually what they mean is a mouse is quiet. So he was as quiet as a mouse means they're comparing a mouse. They're comparing him to a mouse. He's quiet as a mouse. Or she swam like a fish, meaning a fish is really good, right? It's a good swimmer naturally. So she swam like swim past of swim is swam. She swam like a fish. That means she's really good. Her swimming technique or her style or expertise of swimming is good as a fish. So she swam like a fish. He was quiet as a mouse. These you're comparing two different things, right? Simile. Now that's using like or as. Okay. Roberto, can you
Okay.
read this metaphor about metaphor?
Yes. Metaphor compares two different things. Something is something else. For example, Ali is walking directionally. Time is money.
Dictionary. Dictionary.
Dictionary. Time is money.
Okay. So here, instead of saying like or as something, he's like this, they're saying
Like,
she is that. Allie's a walking dictionary. It's not like she's a book. It just means she's very knowledgeable. A dictionary is a book of words, right? Words, definitions, examples. So Allie is you're using the verb to be is a walking dictionary. So when you picture that, you're going to picture somebody who's very smart. Allie's a very smart person. Time is money, which means what? Is you work, right? When you work, your time is money.
yeah.
You're not saying
Okay.
time is like money. Allie is like a walking dictionary. Allie is a walking dictionary.
Okay.
Okay. For example, in our case, we trying to create a sentence regarding to metaphor. It is possible to use my sister is a rat gym. No,
It's
it's
a
a
gym
comparison.
rat.
Gym rat.
Gym rat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said my sister's a gym rat. Yeah, because in the gyms there's I don't know about not the. I hope not. I never see one, but yeah, she's like in the gym, like constantly.
Yes.
Gym
Yeah.
rat. Exactly.
And in our
Or like
work,
my
for example,
daughter is.
mhm,
Mhm. Go ahead.
in our work, for example, I used to say, "Don't cry like a baby when you
Don't
have
cry
a."
like the baby is your simile, not a metaphor.
Okay.
Like don't
Simile,
cry
yes.
like
Simile, yes.
a baby. Exactly. Because if you're an
Yes.
adult crying like or act like a baby's crying all the time, don't cry like a baby. Exactly.
Okay.
So so that's a difference between the simile and the metaphor. Whereas you're going to use like or as for simile, and metaphor you will use something is something. It's not like, it is something. He is a big teddy
Okay.
bear. It doesn't mean he's a big bear. Teddy bears are usually cute and cuddly or huggable, so he is a teddy bear. It's unlike another metaphor.
Yeah. Okay.
Questions?
No, it it's clean
No.
for me.
Okay, like again, here's another one. Manuel, can you read this?
Yes. Smiley. versus
Simile,
metaphor.
simile, simile.
Simile. Simile versus metaphor. Meaning compares two entities using like or as. And metaphor compares two entities directly.
Directly. Yeah, directly is the thing.
Directly. Yeah.
So you came in like a breath of fresh air. That just means, you know, it was really in a bad situation. Fresh air. You made the place more positive, you know, made the energy go up. It's like, oh, fresh air, you know, it helps. And as opposed to look at the difference, you are a breath of fresh air. It's pretty much the same thing, right?
Yes. For example, in Mexico, say when you are relaxed and you are comfortable when to do something, we use and you feel fish on water because it's piece of cake for you.
You
Fish
feel
in
like
water?
a fi-
Yeah, the meaning is
you
it's a piece of cake for you to do something. It's easy
Or
to
like a
do.
fish in a pond, like fish in a pond, or like something
Or
like that.
water,
It's
yeah.
fish in the
or in
water.
the water.
Fish in the water.
Like it's
Metaphor.
you're a fish in the water.
Yeah.
Like that.
You
Okay.
are,
I've
yeah,
never
that
heard
you.
that one. Is that a Mexican?
Yes, it's Mexican. It's a Mexican
Okay,
style.
I've
Do you
I've never heard
know
that.
today a new expression in Mexican style?
I learned a new one. Exactly. I learned a new one because I've never heard that. Because you know, I've heard stuff like, you know, you're a small fish in the pond, meaning like, you know, when you go to a new company or a new school, something you're doing new, you're a fish in a pond means you're like it's a big pond or a big lake, right? And you're a small little fish who goes in. So it's something like my daughter started high school today, yesterday, and she's like, "Dad, I'm scared." You know, she's going from a school with 300 kids to 700 kids. So I was like, "No, you're going to be like, you know, small. You're going to be a fish in a pond, but soon you will acclimate to the all the surroundings. You know, it's going to seem scary at first, but so I think you're like it's almost like the same kind of thing you're saying. You know,
Yeah.
but that yours is comparing in the sense of it's easy, right? Something is very easy.
Yeah. For example, we use some expression that motivate my personal. When the people is workaholic, I used to you are warrior
Warrior,
because warrior
Warrior.
like a
like a
warm
fighter, warrior,
yeah warrior yeah because it is
warrior,
warrior
like a
warrior. Let me show
warrior, like
you
W, yeah,
warrior.
warrior, yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, man, workaholics. I used to be one, and man, I used to work 12, 14, 15 hours. It was crazy, but I stopped because I can't anymore. I'm getting too old. Anyway, let's keep going, guys. I want to just keep going with you. So let's look at these. Can you see, or should I make it bigger?
Uh, could you put bigger, please?
Can you make it?
But
Yeah.
you know what is the trouble now, Joseph? That in
Uh-huh.
Spanish I never use that, so I have a trouble just to understand. Not in English. Okay, I understand what is the difference in and
We'll go
metaphor.
like don't even worry about it. Like when we start doing these, we can
Okay,
explore. You know, we can look at the when we see the phrase
perfect.
or the whole line, we will
Yes,
explain or try to get what it means. Okay, so this way you know what you're reading.
yes.
But here, I want the main thing also I want you to be able to tell me the difference between metaphor and simile, which is a simile,
Perfect.
which is a metaphor. So, Manuel, try the first one.
First one, my best friend is an angel. It's a
Okay,
uh, it's a metaphor.
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 Exactly. It's an is an
Metaphor.
angel. It's a direct, right? It's a direct comparison. And that's an easy one, right, guys? My best friend is an angel, meaning she's such a sweetheart, or he's a sweetheart, he's a nice guy, or she's a nice girl, very calm, a good friend.
Oh,
She's
my
such an
daddy
angel.
is my hero. Is it possible to use?
Well, no, that's not actually, that's not a comparison. My dad is Superman, you can say, right?
Okay. Okay.
Because that means you're comparing him to, you're saying he's Superman. He's like powerful, or he's like your strength.
Okay.
Roberto, next one.
sorry. My teacher exclaimed,
Exclaimed.
exclaim. The word is your stage. It's a metaphor.
Exactly. It's a metaphor. What does that mean? The world is your stage. What do you think?
That the word is stationary or like a movie or something like that. No.
Well, what do you do on stage? You perform for the audience, right? Everybody's watching you.
Yes.
So when the world is your stage means you're pretty much on stage all the time. You're performing for everybody, right? Whatever you do,
Okay.
you're the way you live, the way you work, the way you behave, everything. So really the whole thing is the stage.
Okay.
The world is your stage. So that's a metaphor. Perfect. Next one.
The sun is like a exquisite marble in the sky.
Marble.
Marble.
Mhm.
What is a marble? A kind of
I'm sure I know you. I
Canica.
know. It's those little round balls that you play on
Canica,
the
yes,
Manuel.
ground.
yes, okay. A ball, a little ball.
Man, well, it's made of like glass, right? Like glass or some kind
Yes.
of material. Is it glass? It's
Okay.
not glass, is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Years ago, you played now with these marbles.
Yes.
When I was a kid, man, you
In
get
Mexico,
all the
there is
it's
this kind of play
these kind of games
in
you play with, right?
entertainment. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we used to in India, same thing. We put it in the hand like this and like put the marble there, shoot it and stuff like that. Man, I haven't played in like hundreds of years, but so the sun is like an exquisite marble in the sky. Similar metaphor.
Similar. Simile.
Simile. Okay. He is light, right? He is light, so that makes it simile. They're not saying the sun is a marble in the sky. They're saying the sun is like a marble in the sky. Because an exquisite means like extraordinary, like wow, really cool, nice. So it's like a big marble in the sky. Perfect. Roberto, number 4.
Yes. Jeffrey is very knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable. Knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable.
Mhm.
Jeffrey is very knowledgeable.
Knowledgeable.
Okay, he's walking directionally.
Dictionary.
Dictionary. Walking dictionary. Is a metaphor?
Metaphor. What's a dictionary? I know we saw that word earlier, but what is a dictionary?
Yeah, let me think.
Is the book?
It's a book. It's a
You
book of
can
words.
find the
You can
meaning
find
or the definition of something.
exactly. It shows the meaning. It shows the pronunciation. Sometimes it shows pictures. Sometimes even has different meanings of the word. How do you pronounce it? Usually we'll tell you, I think it's a noun or verb, adjective, whatever it is, or how you can use it a lot of the times. But dictionaries, I think the biggest one was the Atlas Dictionary or the Webster Dictionary. Before the time of what's it called? Before we had the internet in schools, I don't know how Mexican schools work. We used to have, I mean, we had to use dictionaries to get spelling words, or we used some books called encyclopedias. Encyclopedias. Those are like books of knowledge. These are marbles, actually, Manuel, that picture?
Yes, yes, it's a kind of play that you can
Kind
play
of
when you
game,
go
kind
to
of
the,
game.
yes, it's a game. Yes. And you
Oh,
need
cool.
need to shot when you finger the marble and
Shoot the
you get
marble with your
yeah,
finger.
yeah, exactly, and you gain a points in every all, and at the end you need to summarize all the points and you will be gain a toy
Toy,
If you
toy.
or
get
a
it, if
gift.
you get enough points, you get a prize.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it's like Chuck E.
Yes, it
Cheese,
is
right? You go
funny.
to Chuck E.
It's just funny when you are kids, you wants to go to the feria in order to
The fairs, yeah.
first to play this kind of game.
Well, same thing, man. Like you go to like Chuck E. Cheese, right? You spend $20 to play these games, then you get the tickets, and with all the tickets, you go to get a prize. You get a pencil. So, so it's like I spent $20 for tickets for my daughter to get one pencil. It's like, come on, man. I could
Exactly. After 10 minutes, the pencil was broken.
there you go. Well, you get those little plastic toys. It's like, or the candy, like a small candy which you could buy at the store for 1 penny. And it's like, oh my goodness. But yeah, it's fun for the kids. So, but perfect. Okay. Next one. Who was it?
Yes. My
Manuel. Number
mother,
5.
my mother intends to keep us busy as bees.
Keep us
Uh,
as busy as bees.
keep us as busy as bees. Simile?
Simile. What do they mean by that? Us busy as bees.
I don't know.
Well, you know what's a bee, right?
Yeah.
The bees are those things, the yellow ones that make the honey. They sting you, it hurts, right? Bees.
Yes.
So constantly, it's always saying that the bees are always busy. They're always working, right? Bees
Working.
don't rest. Busy's
Okay.
working, making the honeycomb, making the honey. So mother instead to keep us busy. I mean, so she wants, so that what they're saying is, my mom wants to just make us keep doing work, like a bee, just constantly working, busy as bees.
Okay.
Like Manuel, what you do to Robert, you keep him busy as a bee, right? You always make sure he's working. So you that's so Robert Roberto's always busy as a bee.
Always
Exactly.
like a
See,
bee.
there you go. So you can tell Robert. So Roberto can tell Manuel, come on, man, you're keeping us busy as bees. So then you'll
Yes.
say, I know what he's talking about. Next one, number 6.
Okay, the classroom is a zoo. It's a metaphor.
What do they mean by that? There's no animals in the classroom, but what do they mean?
No, but
On depends.
they are like animals, no?
Yeah, the kids are.
Some
You're
donkeys
right.
They
or
don't understand. They never
The
understand
kids act
nothing.
like animals. Oh my goodness, man. I remember I told you guys I started teaching in Tehuacan online with the first grade, second grade, and seventh grade. So first year I did online because of the corona. Second year, after half the year, they went into the school. Man, these first graders, they don't know English. They know basic. What's your name? Roberto. They were going crazy, running all over the place, and the assistant was having trouble keeping them all in one place. And like you said, the classroom was a zoo. It's, oh my goodness. I don't know. It's to teach elementary is hard, especially when they're very
Yes,
young.
it's hard.
It would be crazy. So
Yes.
perfect. Anyway, that's good. So it's a metaphor. The classroom is a zoo. Perfect. Number 7.
Number 7. It is a common sentence in Mexico. My brother
Yeah.
is as stubborn as a mule.
What
It's a
is similar?
metaphor.
No,
Uh,
as
simile.
simile. And what's a mule? Mule, is
Like a
that a
A kind
horse
mix
of
of,
with a
donkey.
donkey.
A kind of donkey.
but is the mule a mix of a horse and a donkey?
Yes,
Yes.
it's
It
the
is, right?
mix. It's a
And
mix.
they're very stubborn, right? They just don't, they're well, in America, we don't use the word mule. We use a really bad word for it instead of that. But it's a common phrase in Mexico, huh?
Yes. The
Yes.
fact say a lot of when they trying to guide you and you avoid your advices and you
Yeah.
same to do some every day and
You don't want to do what
you
they
don't
tell you to do.
change. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like my wife. She's pretty stubborn. I mean, it's a good thing she's not in class. She would argue with you, but it's my daughter. My daughter's same way. She's stubborn. She is so stubborn. When she decides something, it's hard. I think kids are like that, right? I know that when they're young, some kids are very stubborn. If they
Yes.
Yes.
want something, man, they cause you so much trouble till they get it.
Some
And
kids and some
Me-
adults also.
exactly.
there you, oh yeah, definitely, definitely, 100%, man. There's some adults. There's some adults you cannot reason with. You cannot talk. They will just argue every point. And usually that's pretty stubborn people.
Yes,
Very good. Next one. Number
okay.
8.
Education is your key to the future. It's a metaphor.
Education.
Edu.
Education.
Education.
Usually, I know it's a edu. When we pronounce it, it is more of a education.
Education.
What do they mean by that? Education is your key to the future.
Your future is in your hands.
Education.
If you get more education, you will get more best future, no?
For better opportunities, more
Better
opportunities.
Yes.
But I think we talked about this in class last week, right, guys? Nowadays, it's so hard to tell the kids to get an education when these athletes are getting paid millions.
But
and
what about Joseph that I don't know. And my idea is that in Mexico we don't have these cases, but in US, if you don't have all the skills to get the education, they give you an what is the name? Another option that is not to be a doctor, but you can be a police guy. But you will get
even right now,
good money.
Actually, to be a police in America also now, many require degrees. They require at least a bachelor's. But one thing about America, I have to, as many flaws as USA has, one thing for education, guys, is you can always get student loans. It's an amazing thing. You get student loans, you get grants, which means the government gives you free money depending on your financial income at the house. Then you get scholarships. And these loans are paid back. For example, you go to college for 4 years. You take loans every year. After you graduate, 6 months after you graduate, or you're done with school, is when you start making payments on your student loan. So honestly, to tell me, I mean, if anybody says, oh, I didn't have the opportunity to go to college in America, I find that ridiculous, poor excuse, because maybe you cannot afford to go to Harvard. Maybe you cannot go to Yale. You cannot go to University of Chicago, but you can still go to junior colleges. Guys, those junior colleges are 2-year colleges, okay? In all the cities, all the towns, all the villages. I live in Romeoville. We have JJC, Joliet Junior College. Community college. So where, for example, where one class of English in a university costs 3,000, one class of English in junior college will cost you 300. And so when you have a full 2 years, the government will give you enough money to pay for that. You can go to school for free. They pay your books, show how much money you make, do the document. It's called FAFSA, FAFSA, FAFSA. You do that, you show your income, and within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, the money goes straight to your school. Sometimes they give you extra money. The school gives you the money back. Say, hey, Joe, there was extra $300. It's yours. So and 2 year, like you were talking about, like not like Roberto, you were saying like a doctor. There's 2-year courses, man. Respiratory therapy, nuclear medicine, radiology, vocational tech.
Yes.
Vocational, like mechanics.
Here is the same.
So they're like, and you can do those, or they have vocational schools where you study this kind of vocational trades. My sister-in-laws, both of them studied respiratory therapy. 2-year course. It's called an associate's degree. Okay, they're making with overtime. Working in America in the hospitals. One of them is making over $100,000 a year. So anybody says, oh, I didn't have the money to study. I hate to say it, man. In America, it's Mexico, I understand. India, I understand. In US, guys, that's the poorest excuse you will ever hear, because there's money to study. One time, a Jewish lawyer, I was telling him, look, my son wants to go to Harvard to study, but I can't afford it. It's very expensive. This is a Jewish lawyer, okay? They're very cheap people, Jewish people. But very intelligent, very wise. He said, Joe, if your son wants to go to Harvard, do not let finances be an excuse, because if your child is smart, the school will find ways to make that child come to your school because they want that child in your school, because that child could be the next Einstein, you know? So then they can say, oh yeah, he went to Harvard. Or there's school loans. Like my daughter, she's paying $53,000, guys, per year. It's not a joke. I can't afford that, me and my wife. So out of the 53,000 every year, so she's going to be done 4 years, it's going to cost $200,000. My son was 220 we spent, but out of the 220, he got so much scholarship. He was, when you get good grades, you have different foundations, charities give you money. Say, oh, he's a good student, I'll give him money. My son's education was almost like 26,000 or 30,000 per year, 42,000 for Marquette University. Out of that 40,000, he got 18,000 scholarship money. That means the school said, here's money for you, come and study with us. Then he got like about 15,000 in grant. So we only had to pay about 8,000, or then we took student loans. So we only had to pay like 5,000, 6,000 per year out of the 40,000. So like Robert, I know in Mexico is different, but in America, I'm sorry, man. If anybody says they didn't have the means for education, I have no sympathy for them.
Yes,
Even
but my idea is that for me, I think that we need to have a balance. Not all the people could go to the university, you know, because
exactly.
you have a lot of. It's like like if you want to be an accountant now. 2 weeks ago, I went on a party that a lot of guys get the last they graduate for the university, and was 2,000 persons, 2,000 guys that now
People,
are in the
2,000
market,
people.
people that now are in the market. So the trouble here is that if you don't have a control all the market, you don't have market for all the people. So not all the people need to go to the university, and you can have trades like a carpenter or plumber or something
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
the market is oversaturated, meaning there's more
Exactly.
graduates than the jobs. Exactly. Did you know there was a time I had a client, she was telling me she was from Canada, guys. I think Alberta or Calgary, I forgot. She's a very she was a double MBA, a business lady, smart as anything. She said, Joe, education is good, but you don't all have to be doctors and MBAs. I was like, what do you mean? You need a good job, right? Because I push my son. She said, no, because my son, her son, he's a plumber, you know, the one who fixes like the sinks and all that, the plumber, the drains, and he does electric work, like fixes like electrician. And I said, well, I know they pay decent money. She said, no, in Calgary, they are, or wherever she was in Canada, they are very short of these people, like Robert, you were saying, like a trade, you know? And she
Yes,
said, he
trades.
makes almost as much money as I do. And she's a double
Yes.
MBA. And I was like,
Yes.
are you serious? She says, yes, because they're so short of those kind of trade jobs. You know, people, okay, he came to my house. He put a pipe, a steel pipe, into my machine, like into the sink. 5 minutes work. 5 minutes. He charged me $280.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. So can you imagine if you do that? How many? That's just a simple job. So if you do a 2, 3 hour job, you're making thousands a day sometimes.
Hand jobs, no? That you do a lot of hand
Manual job,
jobs, manual
labor,
jobs. That
manual
that
labor.
this
Yeah.
is my idea. Is that not is that is not in a bad thing. My idea is that not all the people. You don't need to go to the school to be a successful person. If you have a
But
good trade,
but even for
you
a trade, you need a certificate. You need some kind of education
yes,
background.
yes, 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 of course, but
You cannot just
different
go and open up an
that
electric wire and say, get shot,
yes,
you know? Or so,
yes,
but
yes,
yeah, but you're right. You don't need a 4 year degree. Exactly. I agree with you
exactly.
100%. And guys, even America, you don't need a degree. I know a lot of Indians who have come to America, a lot of Mexicans. Where I live in Romeoville, it's predominantly uh, minorities, Filipinos, Mexicans. there's blacks, there's white people, and me, few of us Indians. A lot of the guys like the like what's it called, landscaping work, okay, like the the lawn cutting, the our landscaping. I hire a company. They're Mexicans. They come every 2 weeks to my house. They charge me $75. They cut my grass, clean the grass, trim everything, and leave. So what they do is they do a whole neighborhood in 1 week. So imagine how much money they're making. That's not a trade. Really, you don't need a trade for that, right? You don't need a certification for that. But they got a good business. They have man, these guys are living in a nice house. It's a basic menial jobs people don't want to do, but you can make money. And there are a lot of jobs like they have we have the house basements, right? The basements are the rooms below the house. In America, when you buy a house, the basement is unfinished, meaning it's like just one big empty room, guys. You have to make it to your style. You can make a bedroom, you can make a bathroom, you can make a TV room, you can put a kitchen. A lot of these guys, if you hire a contractor, they charge money like crazy, thousands. But you hire like these guys from Mexico or South America, Central America, or who are, a lot of them are illegal, okay? But they will do the work for 25%, 25% of that other rate. You just buy them the material, and the work is amazing because a lot of these guys are craftsmen, right? They do a lot of craft work. And my friend did the basement. Man, he put like a big screen TV. The bathroom was, I was like, you must have spent like 30, 40,000. He said, no, I hired some guys. They came by the house. Um, they just did the work. I just give them coffee. And it was not even that, not even, I paid for the material, but I paid them total like $10,000. That's it. So yeah, um, when kids say they don't want to go to college, you don't have to, maybe it's not for them, but there are a lot of trades out there, man. There's, like you said, there's a lot of trade jobs that needs to be filled. Same thing in America. A lot of people with bachelor's degrees are sitting at home. People with MBAs are sitting at home, no jobs, because the market is oversaturated, unfortunately,
Yes.
And you're right.
Yes.
And if they're doing a trade, my uncle came from India in 89, 85 to America. He had no trade. He was just a basic guy who barely spoke English. He studied plumbing and electrical. He works at O'Hare Airport. Imagine, the biggest airport in Chicago, one of the busiest in the world. He's one of the leading technicians. 10 years ago, guys, not 10, 20 years ago. This is 20 years ago. In 2002, I saw his salary. 20 years ago, with no education, just a basic trade, he was making over $90,000. In 2003, I saw his taxes. I was like, my God. I went to university, I got a degree, and I don't even make that, But he was
Yes.
making then. Now I know he's probably making way more than that, or he's retired now, but he was making more than that, like maybe 130, 140,000 easily. Then the work is done at 5 o'clock. You have the great insurance, you come home, then you do private work. You go to people's house, do private work, $500, boom, $300, boom. You make in one night or evening, But you're right, Roberto. It's they definitely, like you said, 2,000 people, no jobs. That's scary. With a degree,
Yes.
all that money spent on a degree, a lot of money, right?
You just spend a lot of money trying to go to
Exactly.
the university, and then you don't want to return, or the light don't will return, or the market don't will
Yeah,
return the
exactly.
money that you invest in your education. So I
Oh
think
yeah.
that is a good idea that if you don't have all the skills to go to the university, or left this space for another person, and you will get a training trade, no, a good training,
It, it,
and
it's a
you
phenomenal.
will
It's an
get a
alternative. It's a phenomenal alternative. It
you will
definitely
have
is.
a good life.
Exactly.
But of course, there is another person that maybe could be a doctor, no? But you don't have the skills. This is the thing. So,
Oh yeah.
but here is very is complicated. Think like that because most of the people believe that if you do that, you are I don't know, you are like segregando. Wait. you are segregate.
Segregated. Yeah, you're segregated.
Segregate the people, no? That you're yes or you're no. You're yes or you're no. So this is very hard.
It is true, and it's very for those people. It's very sad also because you study, thinking you have a great job waiting for you, and boom, the market is too much. It happened in America too. There was a like couple of markets like radiology and stuff. There was a shortage. Everybody started studying. They thought, oh, 2 years, man, I'll graduate, I'll make money. Then what happened? It was oversaturated. So many people, because like when they got older, because of the economy's cost of living, like the people who should retire, they would not retire. They keep their jobs at 65, 68, 69. And the younger people were having difficulty getting in because, but you're right, it's a good trade to have. Definitely, it is. It's a great alternative to have. But how did we get off this topic? I don't even know. Oh, we were talking about education is the key to the future.
Yes.
Okay. But yeah,
Okay,
it's a good point, Robert. It's a very good point. It is, but like you said, it's very sad when you see 2,000 people in a room, and really there's no job for them. It's very depressing. It's tragedy actually. So it's very tragedy. It's a big tragedy.
Yes, it's frustrating.
Perfect. Let's finish up this guy. Then we're almost done. Manuel, number 9.
Yes. The water sparkled like a thousand of tiny diamonds. It is simile.
Like thousands of simile, right? It's like thousands of tiny diamonds, sparkles. It's like just shiny. Perfect. And what about the last one, Alberto?
Yes, my baby sister Ruth is cute like teddy bear. Is
There's no
sorry?
there was no like. My baby sister Ruth is cute little teddy
Is
bear.
cute little teddy bear. Yes. Is a metaphor.
Metaphor, yeah. They're not saying she's like a teddy bear. They're saying she is a teddy bear.
Yes.
Perfect.